And for example, one of my regular guests on here, Tariq Nasheed, who, his stance is with foundational Black Americans. He did a whole documentary basically trying to prove that Puerto Ricans were around, but they were not instrumental in the building of hip hop.
There it is. There it is. Yes, they was around. But no, they didn't. They didn't want no parts of hip hop. They didn't want to be a DJ because that's what it was, either a DJ or MC.
Well, was it Charlie Chase?
But this was after. This is 80s
later?
now. You're talking about the beginning.
The
You said the
70s.
beginning, right?
Okay.
The beginning, they didn't want no parts of this because they didn't see themselves fitting in. From me.
Yeah, well, you were there, so.
Right. So there was no parts of it. But now what the part they played, because we entered it as the culture, would be breakdancing and graffiti writing. Because as Puerto Ricans, they were only ones with the courage to do some shit like that. And with the breakdancing, because that was their shit. They was dope with that. And the graffiti. You had some black guys that you had the Fays and the guys coming up, the Leos and the Lees coming up with the graffiti after they seen most of these guys that was Latinos and Puerto Ricans do that shit. So I always say the Puerto Ricans played a major part in our culture with the breakdancing, the graffiti writing, and the Spanish language. They taught us some of their language, man.
Peace, you know who this is, family. I'm here today to deal with big money politics, financial literacy. And financial literacy. He keeps adding me, so it's like, all right, I'm gonna deal with you because I'm not ducking no smoke. He added me from this video right here with Busy Bee, right? And I'm like, I watched this video. I've been knew about this video. This video is over a month old, and I'm like, bro, you must have not watched the video. You must have just read the title and thought you was doing something. Lookership at its finest. But that's what Tariq teaches y'all. So I can see that. As you heard from the clips, family, what did Busy Bee say? He said they was around. First of all, that exposed y'all right then and there because y'all said Puerto Ricans wasn't even around. Busy Bee said they was around. And Vlad lied talking about Tariq said Puerto Ricans was around, but they didn't do nothing with hip hop. That's a lie. He might have said that another time because Tariq is always switching up and moving the goalposts and contradicting himself, but that was not his original stance. But anyway, we're gonna keep it going. Busy Bee said what? He said they was around, but they didn't want no parts in hip hop, as in DJing and MCing, because he was talking about hip hop in the musical genre part. But when he said that they played a major role with the breakdancing and the graffiti, and that was the culture. That's hip hop, the cultural part. And that's what people have always been saying. No, I don't know why I keep creating this straw man that people are claiming that there was just as many Puerto Rican MCs as there were black ones, or there were just as many Puerto Rican DJs. Our stance is that they was always there and they participated from the beginning. See, and also, what did Busy Bee say? He said, from my perspective. And Vlad was like, well, your perspective got to be right because you were there from the beginning. Busy Bee was a little kid. Hip hop started in 73. Busy Bee was 11 years old in 73. Busy Bee said that he found out about hip hop and fell in love with it in 75 when she was 13. Busy Bee first really got active with hip hop in 77 when he was 15 years old. Busy Bee first real breakout was in 79, I think, when he was 17 years old. And he really became solidified in 81 when I think he did the battle with Kumo D, the DJ battle, when he was 19. There was a lot going on in hip hop that he might not have known about because he was just too young. That's why he said from his perspective, where he was at, he didn't see them doing the MCing and the DJing like that. They didn't really fit into that from how he saw it. But they did do the graffiti and the breakdancing. And he said as the time went on, it all came together. Hip hop, the culture. Remember, what's the 5 elements of hip hop? DJing, MCing, breakdancing, graffiti, and having fun. So really the four elements. That those four elements that were already in existence before hip hop. Because remember, people were rapping before hip hop. People were DJing before hip hop. People were Puerto Ricans was dancing before hip hop. They've been had the dancing scene in New York on Smash before hip hop, and they was doing the graffiti and the tagging before hip hop. But it was all four of those things coming together, and the synergy of that which created hip hop. And it all fed off each other. So you got debunked. I don't know why you thought this clip from Busy B helped prove your point. It didn't prove it. And again, like Busy B was saying from his perspective, he didn't see too many of them until later on. And you see how Vlad named I forgot who he named. He named a Puerto Rican DJ, but it was a DJ before him who was doing hip hop. DJ Disco Wiz, who invented the mix plate. He did that in like what? What was that? 74, 75? So again, Busy B clarified. He said from his perspective, what he saw. He never said that they wasn't a part of it or they wasn't doing that. But again, we never made this claim that it was a lot of them. We just said they was there, and it was and they did play a role. Nobody said this whole 50-50 with the MC and 50-50 with the DJing. Nobody said none of that. The only person who said 50-50 in hip hop was Fat Joe, and I'm pretty sure he meant 50-50 as in hip hop the culture, as in the Puerto Ricans was doing, the Spanish people was doing the break dancing, the graffiti, and black people started to come into that more and more in the 80s. And the black people was doing the MCing and the DJing for the most part. And then the Puerto Ricans started coming more and more and more into that in the 80s and late 70s. So again, I don't understand how you thought this refuted anything I said. Busy B is 110% correct. And how he's telling the story, how he saw it. But anyway, family, I'm gonna end this video here. Like, share, subscribe, drop me a comment, tell me what you think. Thank you for watching to the end. Like you see, family, I don't duck, don't smoke. I don't know who these people think I am. It's a reason why I could roast Tariq all day and he act like he don't see it. Because he know he can't go point for point with me. So does the Black Authority. So does Professional Black True. So does Phil the Advised Show. All of them. They know me. But they act like they don't see me because they know that they can't go toe to toe with me. That goes to Yvette Carnell too. Like y'all smaller channels, y'all gotta understand that. Like it's a reason your big dog ain't trying to address none of the points I'm making. It's a reason Tariq want to argue with random people who just don't agree with FBA but don't really know what it is, but he don't want to talk to somebody like me. It's a reason why he didn't want to debate Dr. Carr. Like they pick and choose. I don't pick and choose. You're a smaller channel than me, and I'm gonna still wow you up because I don't care. But again, thank you for watching to the end, family. Make sure you like this video, share this video, comment on this video, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell, donate to me if you can. PayPal, Cash App, super thanks, and peace.